things have just been so hectic between work, school, getting ready for like the holidays, all that stuff. So it's just been like a crazy time, and I've been meaning to like sit down and film a video. It's just, I've had so much going on, and I'm sure you guys have had a lot going on too, so hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. But for today's video, I'm finally going to be doing that Girl Talk Q&A. A while ago, I asked you guys to leave me some questions over on my community tab, and I put a post up, asking for questions about relationships, mental health, any types of advice, all that kind of like girl talk stuff. And this is totally inspired by ASMRX Babe or Julia's Girl Talk Q&A series. I always love watching those videos of hers, so that's sort of where the inspiration came from. But anyway, a bunch of you guys left me questions on my post, so thank you for that. And I did get, I think, a question or two in my Instagram DM, so I'm just gonna go through those. And yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so the first question, by the way, I'm keeping these anonymous, guys, for the most part, is how do I gain confidence in the bedroom? I've been married for a while, yet I'm still always nervous when it comes to showing my body. Thank you, love your videos, thank you so much. Yeah, that's definitely a hard one, and I mean, I'm not even married, so I can't speak from that sort of relationship, but it's definitely hard to be confident at times. That's something I struggle with too. I think the important thing to remember there is that your partner chose you for a reason. They obviously find you attractive, physically, mentally, all of that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be with you. So that's, definitely a reassuring thought. And I know, like, that's not a cure to the whole problem or whatever. It's still gonna be difficult, but hopefully knowing that and telling that to yourself will make it a little bit easier. Okay, next question. How to keep things exciting in the bedroom. Okay, a lot of bedroom related questions. Without, getting into too much detail with this one, just because I want to keep things, fairly PG. I would just say don't be afraid to try new things and, be respectful of your partner or whoever you are, partaking in activities with. Just, ask them what they're interested in, keep an open mind, and just try to go with the flow, and just remember that, if at any moment anyone's uncomfortable, just take a step back and, go from there. It's like, the biggest thing is keeping an open mind and asking the other person what they might be interested in trying. I think that's how you keep things exciting and, not so much like in a rut or, boring or whatever. Just keep an open mind. Don't be afraid to try new things. Okay, next question. I love hearing about women's skincare journeys, how you found products that work for you, how it affects your confidence or mental health. Yeah, so that's a big one. I definitely struggle with acne and hyperpigmentation and redness and all of that to this day, and I'm 22 years old, so it's definitely like not just, teenage acne anymore. And it's hard because it can affect your confidence for sure. I think the biggest thing is just taking it one step at a time, because if you try a whole bunch of products all at once, that's gonna most likely harm your skin even more. You need to like slowly test out products that you think will be best for your skin, and buy stuff that you think will work for your skin, not what you just see on TikTok or Instagram or whatever's trending. Like if you have super sensitive skin, you can can't be doing like a super high dosage of benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid. You need something like with a smaller percentage, something much more gentle, and you just need to test that out, and eventually you'll find what works for you, and it'll help. But obviously, visiting a dermatologist could help a lot too. I know that's not something everyone can afford to do. I've not seen a dermatologist myself, but I know that helps a lot of people, so if you're able to, I would definitely recommend that. Okay, next question. Advice on being scared to commit and fall for a new person after a bad relationship breakup a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's a tough one. Definitely, I feel like most people have been there. I've definitely been there, and it's hard because you sort of, need to work on yourself, and like, only you'll know when you're able to trust someone again, and, you might be afraid to, get hurt again, and it's definitely scary, but you have to put yourself out there if you want to find your person, essentially. So I think it's important to just remember that this new person is not the same as, the previous person that you were with. You have to go into it with an open mind, and if they don't give you a reason to, shut down, that's good. You just have to give them a fair shot, I think, and you'll know when you're ready, because it's definitely important to take time for yourself first. I wouldn't recommend necessarily jumping from one to the next right away, unless that's something, you prefer to do, but I think it's important to take time for yourself and heal and, work on yourself before you can trust a whole new person and, enter a new relationship, because it's definitely not easy, and it takes a lot of work to gain that trust with a person and, start from scratch all over again, so it takes time. Okay, next question. Do you have any tips on balancing school, work, and a social life, as well as ASMR? I really struggle to feel productive at times and lack a proper routine. Girl, I feel that. Oh my god. Between school, work, my friends, my family, and ASMR, it's a lot. I'm still learning to figure out a way to manage it all. It's definitely not easy. You just really need to prioritize, I think. Obviously school and work are important, and you have deadlines that you need to meet, so obviously focus on that. And then it's important to focus on yourself too, with your own mental health, and just if you need to step back and take a break from some things, I think it's important to do that. Sometimes we have so much on our plate, and it's just important to realize, okay, this can wait, my mental health is more important at this point in time, or spending time with my family is more important at this point in time. So you just kind of need to figure out what's most important at that moment, and go from there, and eventually you'll figure out a flow that generally works best for you. But don't be afraid to break that routine. Sometimes you have to, it's unhealthy to always be going 110 miles per hour all the time. Next question. Your experience and thoughts on pursuing higher education when you knew it was right for you, how it affects work-life balance, how your relationship has been since during. Okay, so definitely a loaded question. When I first started college, I did not know if I wanted to go to graduate school or pursue a master's. It's sort of something that just fell into my lap, because it was a 4+1 program at the school that I go to. Basically, my undergraduate major had a dual degree program where you could go for your master's as well, with only one additional year, because you start taking master's classes during your senior year of your undergrad. So for me, I thought to myself, if there's even the slightest chance that I will want So I would recommend looking into that if you are interested in higher education. And how has it affected my relationship? It really hasn't affected my relationship. I still get my schoolwork done. I manage to, just take time to focus on that. But sometimes I do have to say, okay, hey Matt, I can't really hang out with you tonight. I need to get this done. And he'll be like, okay, yeah, of course I understand. Or, I'll even bring some work over to his house and just we'll hang out. He'll work on some personal projects and stuff, and I'll do homework. And yeah, you learn to make it work. Next question. My question is, how can we keep our relationship exciting and not boring? I'm 21, and I sometimes find it really challenging to keep things fun because of all the stress. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Sometimes, like, in longer relationships, things may not feel as exciting as they were in the beginning, and that's totally normal because it means, like, you're really in it now. The honeymoon phase is over. You're actually working towards, like, a future with that person, and you're growing together and figuring out, what works in your relationship and all of that. And I think, you mentioned here that all the stress, if the stress is coming from your partner, then maybe it's important to reevaluate the relationship and if you should still be with the person or not. But if the stress is coming from, other sources, then, seek peace and, a foundation in your partner. They should be your rock. They should, be there for you to vent and, obviously not take out your anger on them or anything, but they should be there for you to, like, help calm down and get through life together, basically. But in order to, keep things more exciting and not so boring, I think it's important to always, pursue each other as if you first started dating. Always make it a point to, date each other, whether it's flirting or, simple cute notes or, whatever that means in your relationship. I think it's important to, still do those little things that make each other feel important, and I think that really goes a long way. So yeah. Next question. Do you regret your first time, and do you think it's truly worth it to wait for the right person? No, I don't regret it. Do I think it's worth it to wait for the right person? Absolutely. I think, you should be with someone who you feel safe with, comfortable with, someone you can trust. And, that'll be different for everyone, different times and points in their lives, and, it could look like so many different things, so it's such, like, a personal thing. So obviously I would recommend, waiting for, the right person to do that with so you can be, comfortable and, trust them and feel safe. Those are, like, the most important things, I think. Next question. Have you considered making an OnlyFans? Why not? Okay, fair question. Personally, no, I have not considered making an OnlyFans. Nothing against people who do. More power to you. I know a lot of people make a lot of money on OnlyFans. Just personally, with the career path I'm choosing to take, that's not really widely accepted in the corporate business world. There's that stigma around, any type of sex work, essentially. So, it's just not personally the path for me. But if it's the path for you, that's awesome. Good for you, It's definitely not for everyone. So, yeah. Next question. How to love someone who has a mental health condition? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a loaded question. Personally, I think if slippery slope for sure. And I think the biggest thing you can do if you're in a relationship with someone who has mental health conditions or, whatever, is just be there for them, in whatever capacity that is. If they want to talk about it, talk about it. If they need some personal space, give them that space. But also, most importantly, if you think that things are taking a dangerous turn or, something is going wrong and there's nothing you can personally do to help, seek outside help. It's so important to do that, and don't be afraid that the person might get mad at you or whatever, because they might in the moment, but you never know, because you could end up saving their life by doing that. So I think that's important. Being in a relationship with someone who has, conditions like that, is not always smooth sailing. But you just, you have to power through, and you have to just keep going, especially if you really want to be with the person. You'll stay committed, and you'll find a way to make things work, and you'll find a way to help each other and be there for each other, because just because the other person is dealing with mental health issues doesn't mean that your thoughts or feelings aren't important either. You need to remember to take time for yourself, and it should be equal. You should be able to rely on each other. It shouldn't be just a one-sided thing, and I think that's also important. Okay, next question. I'm struggling to see myself as wanted or beautiful. What do you do to help build self-esteem? Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that too. I feel like so many people have been there, it's hard to feel, pretty or beautiful or whatever all the time. We don't always all feel our best. But I think it's important to do things like self-care and, things that make you happy, and just take time for yourself, because if you feel good about, yourself, whether it's, doing your skincare routine, taking a bath, watching a movie, whatever, just taking some time for yourself can go a long way, because it sort of just helps you recharge your batteries, at least for me. And that can really make a difference. Let's say you're just having a crappy day, you're really not feeling it, you think you look like shit, whatever the case is, having that self-care time, whatever that self-care is for you, is huge. That's something that helps me, so I would definitely recommend that. Moving in together, advice is the next question. I have not experienced this yet, because I do not live with my boyfriend at the moment, although that is something I would like to do in the somewhat near future. I think it's important to just make sure that you have a good relationship with that person, you have a good foundation, and you just know what the responsibilities are. Are you guys splitting everything 50-50? Is one person responsible for cooking, cleaning, and keeping the house together? Is the other person responsible for working full-time and bringing in a paycheck? It will look different for every couple, essentially, or every pair, whatever the case may be. The important thing is to have those boundaries and have those lines clearly set straight and figured out before you move in together. Have a clear understanding of what it's going to look like, and just work towards that. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but I think if you have a general game plan as to how you want things to go, that'll definitely help. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I could say about that, just because it's not something I've experienced in my own life just yet. By the way, guys, I got my nails done not too long ago. I think they're so cute. I love them. Let me know what you guys think. I thought they were so pretty. Okay, just making sure the camera is focused. Next question. Thoughts on open relationships. I feel like I see stuff like this on TikTok all the time about open relationships, and I mean, I get it. I guess it's like, becoming more popular, in today's world, and that's great. More power to the people who choose to pursue that type of relationship. That's awesome. That's great for you. Knowing myself, that's probably not something I would be okay with in my own life. It's just not something I would personally be comfortable with. But, nothing against it. People who choose to have open relationships, awesome. Great for you, Yeah, that's really all I can say on that one. The next question made me laugh a little bit. How the heck am I supposed to wash a bra? Well, I understand where this question is coming from, because I've had bras get all misshapen and destroyed from going through the washing machine. So I have two things I would recommend. One, get yourself one of those, laundry delicates bags where you could put, underwear, lingerie, whatever, bras in this bag. You zipper it up. A lot of times they're like mesh, and you put that in the washing machine, with all the clothing items in that bag, and then you run the washing machine on a delicate setting, and yeah, that usually will do the trick. I've seen that on TikTok before, and yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that, because it'll probably help prevent your bras from getting ruined. Okay, next question, sort of similar to some of the other ones we've talked about. How do you develop trust with a significant other? And that can be hard, especially if, you've had your trust betrayed before in the past, whether it was with that person or someone else, But I think it's important to constantly have open lines of communication and talk about how you're feeling, what may be bothering you, all of that, because if there's no communication, there's going to be misunderstandings and arguments and all of that. And I think if you're just, open with each other and willing to have those difficult conversations, the trust will come and it will build naturally through that. So yeah, that's what I would recommend for developing trust with your significant other. 2 more questions, guys. How to know if you're really in love? That's a difficult question, but I think when we're young, we always think, oh, we're in love, but it's really more like that puppy love, and it's not really true love a lot of the time. And because it's not unconditional love, it's usually superficial surface level, and the relationship tends to not last. If it's love, if you can, not only visualize a future together, but clearly see a path and steps you can take to work towards that future together, and want to work towards that future together. And I think that's how you know, that it's real love, and it's something solid, and it's a good foundation, and it's not just, superficial or puppy love or a fling, it's serious, and you guys are working towards something together, and you're happy to be doing it together. To me, that's love, and growing together and adapting together, and going through hard times, going through good times, all of that, and just being each other's rocks and foundation. To me, that's love. Okay, last question. And the question is long distance, question mark. So I assume you're wondering my thoughts on long distance relationships. They're not easy by any means. And I give people a lot of props, if you are in a long distance relationship, because it's difficult, it's not easy. And it takes 2 really strong people So essentially, you'll be together and no longer long distance at a certain point in time in the future. If you know that, I think that helps, because if it's just long distance for an uncertain amount of time, that can, I guess, complicate things. But everybody's different. Trust and communication are huge with long-term relationships, and I can't stress that enough. Those are super important, because if you have those, and there's commitment, and you guys find ways to make time for each other, on the phone, whatever, you visit each other, then, you can make it work, and you can, get through it. People do it all the time, but you just have to want to. There has to be that will and that commitment to each other, for sure. And it can't be one-sided either. It has to be coming from both sides. But anyway, that was my last question. Thank you guys so much for leaving them for me. This was fun. I really did enjoy this type of video. I could totally do a part 2 if you guys would like to see more of this. Please let me know. But yeah, that's